Hello everyone and welcome to the new Honda ZR-V, a fairly impressive SUV that measures up well against its rivals for quality, value for money and daily running. So in today's video, we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this new ZR-V. Subscribe! So this new ZR-V is offered in two different variants, which is the LX and the EX. LX being the base variant, EX being the top of the line, and the one that I'm reviewing is the top of the line EX variant. There are not many changes in terms of the LX and the EX. I'm going to come to that as and when I come across some very little features that are different. So let's start from the front, and you get this glossy grille out here and this vertical slot and horizontal slots inside, and the whole shape is a little roundish, unlike a certain Hondas, most of the Hondas actually. So there's this roundish bumper in here with this Honda badging, and this grille looks like a mustache. I don't know, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? At the bottom, more meshed grille that has been given, and this bumper has much more curves and designs in here to make it look a little more stylish. There are also these vents, which are the original vents and not the fake ones, so air actually goes in and channels from behind, and pretty long nose that way. And the car itself sits slightly lower. I feel like if you see my height with the car, it sits lower. There's also this camera that has been given, is for Honda sensing, so it does all the clever safety features for you. It scans the roads, and for lane assist and all of that it's used, even detecting vehicles in the front for collision. When it comes to these headlights, these are the LED adaptive headlights which are given on this ZR-V. There are also DRS that are given out here in an L shaped, and those same DRS convert into the turn signals. The headlight cluster itself is also dynamic, so it keeps changing around whenever you're driving, so adjusting the beams and everything. And also there are no fog lights which are given on this ZR-V. So the new ZR-V is based on Honda's pretty popular platform, which is from the Honda Civic. So a lot of bits are actually quite similar to the Civic, including even the interior bits. I'm going to come to that when we jump inside to look at the interior. And on the sides you get these 18-inch alloy rims in this dual color, which is silver and black. At the bottom it's rather plain, there is no skirtings or anything, but the skirtings or the door frames, they don't extend all the way down, so this bit can get dirtier, so when you step out of it your pants may get dirty also. And in terms of this side mirror, this is a body colored side mirror. At the bottom it's normal plastic, and it's power foldable, it's power adjustable, but there's no blind spot warning that you get on this ZR-V, not even on the top model. There's also an LED turn signal that has been given, and black color surrounds which are given around these windows. On top, again body colored, because there is no sunroof that has been given. A very roundish shape in the back, somewhat like a Porsche Macan sort of round in here. Let me know in the comment section. Out here you would find the arches, plastic ones, which are given on top of the body arches so that you can protect your fender, and in case you damage them it's just easier to replace these bits. When you come to these doors, these are smart keyless entry doors, and the good thing is that when you have the key in your pocket and you walk away from the car, it will automatically lock the car for you. So these are some of the brilliant features which are given on the ZR-V. Now if you're probably confused, where does this ZR-V fit in terms of the segment, because there's already an HR-V in the small compact SUV segment, and then there is also the CR-V in the mid-size segment. So Honda has decided to cut those two and basically fit this car in between of that, and that's where it fits between the B and the C segments of the SUV. Now when you come to these tail lights, you get a completely LED tail light cluster out here. The signature lights and everything is LED. There's also a spoiler out here in dual color, this plastic and the body color. There's also a LED light in here. In terms of the visibility, it's a little restricted, which is what I find. There are thick pillars and you see the upper levels of the roads, but it's still decent, I would say, in terms of the visibility. There are also parking sensors that are given out here, and then this bumper out here at the bottom has silver color bits, and you will find dual exhaust tips on both the sides which have the chrome surrounds, and these are the actual exhaust tips and not the fake ones, so they actually have some function. There is also ZR-V badging in here, and then the Honda badging. And when you come to the boot space, you can either press this button or you can swipe your leg. It's a convenience feature because when you have a lot of shopping bags, this is going to help you a lot. And the first thing to notice is that the boot floor sits very low, so it's pretty easier to load your luggage in and out from here. There's not any boot lip or anything in here, it's flat. And when the rear seats are folded up, you can put 380 liters of luggage in the bag. I feel it's much more bigger than that when you visually look at it. There's also carpet lining and everything. There are also scuff plates out here so that you don't damage your bumper. There are also hooks out here along with the 12-volt power socket, some boot lights which are given, and there's also a boot separator. And one cool feature is that boot separator sits down very easily in here, so you don't have to bother about where to keep it or where will it fit, because if you're not going to be using it, you can just stuff it here in this dedicated space and it fits right inside the boot floor. Well done, Honda, well done with that. There's also a spare wheel that has been given. Yes, even that has been cramped inside this boot space, and along with the tool kits and everything. And there's one more cool feature that is given on this Honda, but I'm going to come to that later, because first let me show you when you fold down the rear seats how much you can put. So the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, and the lever is given out here. You press that. I'm just going to fold down one seat. When you fold them down, I don't know in terms of liters, but it's humongous because there are not many thick arches that are given out here, so you can easily load this boot space with a lot of luggage. And it's also relatively flat. There's only some amount of slope, but that's also been covered with the carpet lining, so it's easier to stuff your luggage in and out. And now when you come to the cool feature, oh, by the way, there are also boot lights which are given in this boot door also, so it illuminates the floor for you at night. Now when we come to the cool feature, so there's this button that has been given which is called a walk away feature. So when you press that, now the key is in my pocket, because that's usually when you will have the shopping bags, you will just press this button. I'm going to walk away from the car and this boot door will lock itself. You see that? Now I'm behind the camera. It just did that. Now when you jump inside the new ZR-V, you would notice that it looks pretty much similar to the Civic, and as I had mentioned before, it's based on the Civic, which is why most of its bits are shared across this. And in a way it's good, because to be honest, Civic is the best thing, and currently the newer generation is one of the best in the market, and it makes sense to just put everything similar. So let's start with the material quality. You get soft touch material out here, even on the dashboard, out here, everywhere. It's soft touch on the door cards. It's soft touch where can be resting hands, that's leather covered. Out here the switches and everything, they have plastic, but good quality plastic. At the bottom it just becomes normal plastic. There's also this orange stitching on the side, even on the other side. Out here in the center there's leather covered tunnel out here with this hole out here for storage. I'm going to come to that. There's this stitching again out here, and even on the seats, they are leather seats with the orange color stitching. Steering wheel is leather covered, so good premium material quality that has been used out here. Then you get this same meshed honeycomb grill structure out here that houses your air conditioning vents in here, so that cleverly hides it and gives it a very seamless look in here, even out here on this side. And this leather color is actually a bit purplish, and it's also got a tint of golden when sun directly shines on it, but it's definitely not black, that's for sure. So it's got that purplish. Even these seats, they have the same, and these handrests out here on the door cards, they also have the same purplish kind of golden effect on it. So that's your material quality in here. There are also mood lights which are given in the door cards out here and in the back too. Now when you come to the driver's display, you get a 10.2 inch digital driver's display which has two dials on both the sides, one on the left for your RPM and one on the right for your speedometer, and in the center there's digital speed. But when you switch on the adaptive cruise control switch out here, the dial slightly becomes smaller, and then there is this small digital car which is displayed on your screen. And whenever you switch on any lights or anything, that's actually shown on that small model too. So when you brake, it looks pretty cool. When you switch on the headlights, so it's a nice small touch that has been given, but adds that uniqueness to the whole thing. And then there are informations on these dials that you can change using the dials again, which are given on the steering wheel. So on the left side you can change using the left dial, so you can go and change your FM media controls, basically AB, AM, USB, Bluetooth, apps. Then you go to the custom display, you go inside, and then you can choose to show nothing or the audio and the clock, which is always there. And then you come out and then you go back, and that's this dial. Then the right dial can be changed in the same way. So you go, you have first your average trip, A and B, economy, your range and everything, then navigation, then your safety, attention levels, then the passenger safety, who's put on the belts and everything, maintenance, then your safety support. And then if you want to leave it in blank, you can do that, or you can change the brightness, or you can even change the instrument gauge. So in there you will find the gauge design. So there are 4 different gauge designs which are given. So one is the round, which is this one. Then there is the bar, where the RPM and the speed goes on the side and information becomes bigger. Then there is the round cruise. So when you're in the cruise control, the information would disappear and only the dials would stay. That's what it is, and that's what it says also on these dials. So in case you're confused, so gauges will be hidden when cruise is active. So that's what it says. But I like the round ones because it's much more conventional, and the whole screen itself is pretty bright and easier to see everything. All your information is right there. It's not too fuzzy, and not too much to go inside and deep dive into what sort of information you can see. It's pretty much straightforward operated from the dials on your steering wheel. Now when you come to this steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel with the white stitching in here. There's glossy plastic at the bottom bit, Honda badging in the center, and there are also paddle shifters which are given. These are metal paddle shifters. You hear them? Yeah, they have a very premium quality and feel to it. They are pretty long too, so while you're driving it's easier, but this car comes with a CVT, so I doubt you'll be using it, but still this is a nice touch of giving it in metal, in silver color. The steering wheel is also adjustable, which is your tilt and telescopic both, so you can find the right position and lock it in. And on the right side you would find the controls for your adaptive cruise control, which is given all in here, and also this dial to change the information on a driver's display. And on the left side you would find the controls for your media and everything, and also the voice controls, and the dial to change the left side dial. And that is your steering wheel. Now when you come to the air conditioning controls, straightforward button operated air conditioning system has been given on this thing. Again, Honda sticks to that, which is a very good thing. There is no info like the controls that are moved into the infotainment screen and making it like a single user interface where you can control everything, but at least this is separate, so when your screen stops working you still can use air conditioning control. So it's straightforward on and off button in the center, and then that dial can change the fan speed. The dial itself has such a nice quality and feel to it. It's everything that you touch out here, it's premium. It feels premium also, and the dials on both the sides help you to control the temperature. So you get dual zone air conditioning system on this ZR-V. Then you can change the flow of air and everything, and also you can see the information on top of your infotainment screen whenever you're changing your fan speed, your temperature, or the flow of air. Whatever you're doing it, you can see it on top while you're on the move, so you don't have to take your eyes down when you're changing it, but you can just see it on top. But the dials are there so that you can use that to change everything. And in terms of the air conditioning cooling effect, it's rather nice, and Hondas have very good air conditioning systems, because the moment you sit in, it just takes barely 2 minutes and you put it on full fan speed and the lowest temperature, and the car just gets so cool very quickly, so you don't have to wait for a longer time. So air conditioning wise, it's pretty up there. Now when you come to this infotainment screen, you get a 9-inch infotainment screen which has this colorful touch display that has been given, and you get these colorful icons. So every color coded has a purpose. So your connectivity is all in green, then all your options related to this infotainment screen, trip and everything is in yellow, then your media controls are in blue, then the red one is for the compass. So it's just easier so that you can figure it out while you're on the move. And the screen itself is pretty snappy. Like, yeah, I can see that it's gotten a little faster for sure compared to the previous cars that I have reviewed. So on this, that's a pretty positive start. Then the first option is your all apps, where you can change all the apps that you see on your screen. You can change all of that, what you want to see on your screen. Then there is the buttons which are given on the side for your home, back, and also the volume dial that has been given, and the track changer. Again, that volume dial is closer to the driver, so again that's a good thing while you're on the move. Then continuing, we have the phone option, FM option, then the Bluetooth audio, where you will see all your connectivity options. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system using the Bluetooth, USB, and there is also wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So you don't need the maps specifically, because maps will be sorted out with Google Maps when you use it, or if you're using Apple, then the Apple Maps. Then the smartphone connection for your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, then the traffic announcement, then the trip computer where you can see all your trip information, the USB, then you go to the other side, then the general settings where you will see your system, smartphone display, sound, camera, voice control. So in terms of the sound, you get 8 speaker Bose music system on this one, and this is the first difference, because on the LX model you get just the normal sound system. On this one you get the Bose music system. Then once we go back, we come to that menu option, then there is the AM, then there is the vehicle settings where you will find your deflation warning, driver assist, meter setup, driver position, all of that, lighting, door, window, power, tailgate, maintenance options, and system updates, clock, compass, display. You can change the display settings, then the app installer where you can download some apps onto this, and then the multi-view camera. So you get 360-degree camera on this ZR-V, and the quality of it is pretty good. So if you're parked around, you want to see what's around you, you can switch on this and see it quite easily. And as I mentioned, there are buttons given out here, and there are also shortcut buttons at the bottom too for your phone, FM, Bluetooth, connect, trip computer, display mode. So you can change the brightness of it, and you can even customize these buttons by long pressing it, and then you can select anything from these icons and drag and drop them down. So I'll put the trip out here, so that's how you can change everything. So that's your infotainment screen, and I'm glad it's still one of the best infotainment systems that you will find, because it's just very straightforward and easy, and it's snappy now. I can feel that for sure. So that's one good aspect of using this on the ZR-V. Now when you come to the charging, you get 112-volt power socket that has been given underneath the air conditioning controls, and there is also a wireless charger that has been given on this ZR-V. There is also 2 more USB ports, one type C which is given on the passenger side, and one normal USB port that has been given on the driver side underneath the gear shifter. And there are also 2 more type C USB ports which are given for the rear passengers. Now on this ZR-V you don't get a sunroof, but you get an SOS warning system, which is for your emergency purposes and everything. And in terms of the drive modes, there is this button that has been given out here like a switch. So you press that and you can change the different modes. So you get 3 different driving modes, which is your economy mode, normal, and the sport mode. And also the graphics and dials just change a little bit according to what mode you are in. So it's pretty straightforward and quick to do while you're on the move. And when you come to this gear shifter, you get this stick out here to change into gears, but in the other market you get those button operated systems, the ones that change wirelessly, the change by wire system. So that you get in the other markets. Out here you get this stick, and I found that this is a little bit on a longer side. So when I'm driving, you can see, especially when I'm keeping my hand here, it's a little inconvenient because it's a little on the higher side. That's the only thing which I found. Maybe I can raise my seats, but then I don't like to sit quite high up. I like to sit down. That's the thing. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty smooth to change into different, and it's pretty straightforward. Now when you come to the space on this ZR-V, you will find a lot of space. So you can put easily 1.5 liter worth of bottle in the door cards, and some more storage on the sides. In fact, I actually have this bottle out here, so I can easily put that in. It just about squeezes in there. There's this wireless pad where you can put your phones and wallets. There are also 2 flexible cup holders that are given out here. There's this storage underneath the center armrest where you can leave your phones when they are charging. There's this glove box that has been given, this center armrest in which you can easily put like 6 half-a liter worth of bottles. Not kidding, 6 half-a liter worth of bottles. There's also this sunglass holder that has been given, and in the rear door cards again you can put easily 1.5 liter worth of bottle in both the door cards, and there are 2 normal cup holders which are given in the center armrest. Now when you come to these seats, these are the leather seats that you get on this ZR-V with this orange color stitching, and they are also perforated seats, but they are not the cooled or the heated seats or ventilated in any shape or form. It's just for the design purposes that they have given. And there are also these two headrests that you get. They are bit on the harder side, which is what I find, but the seats themselves are pretty nice and broad, so you sit and fit quite well in here. And they have nice bit of side support, decent amount of that, and also on the backrest you have good amount of support. And on these seats there is decent amount of support underneath the thigh also, and also you can adjust the angle of that seat, but only it's for the driver side but not the passenger side. But nonetheless, it's got decent amount of support underneath the thigh. For longer journeys it's going to be pretty comfortable, and it's one of the things which is really good on this ZR-V, which is the comfort levels that you get. Again, even combined with the suspensions, when we go for the drive, this thing is very, very comfortable. And the driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable, whereas the passenger side seat is 4-way electronically adjustable. But overall, in terms of the build quality, it's pretty solid in here. Everything is fit quite well. There is no loose materials or anything, and even the quality of material is pretty good. Where you're going to be resting or interacting with the car, those touch points are all soft touch. So in terms of that, yes, you got good amount of quality that you get on this ZR-V. Out here in the rear you get good amount of knee room out here, and even the headroom is pretty good, so someone about 6 feet will be able to sit in here quite well. But the thing is that these seats are quite low, if you can make out from the angle that my legs are making. So yeah, that's because the floor has been raised and the seats have been lower, so which is why you get that position where you're sitting quite low down. That's the only thing. But in terms of the comfort, you get the same levels that you get in the front, so the seats are pretty comfortable in that sense. And you get the same purplish color leather seats in here with the orange color stitching out here, and they are also perforated, but they are not ventilated or heated or cooled in. And you can even slide your legs under the seats during the longer journeys. In terms of the quality in the door cards, you get soft touch material in here, which is pretty good. Otherwise usually you would get plastic door cards, so this is soft touch. Again, where you're going to be resting has this leather covered with the orange color stitching in here. On the sides there's also these pocket storages in the driver and the passenger side seat, and there's also this center armrest which you pull out, and you have two normal cup holders which are given, but they are not the covered ones, so they are quite open and they are right in the way where you're going to be resting your hands, and it's a little on the lower side, which is what I find. That's the only thing. But when you have some passengers in here and you want to sit in here, there's only like a very small gradual step in here in the form of the tunnel, but it's not that big that it would intrude you when you sit in here. When you are sat in the middle, the bottom bit is pretty soft, but the backrest, yeah, that's a little harder, so it's more for temporary purposes. Again, if you can switch around the passengers in the back, then they can go on for a longer time too. There are also two air conditioning vents that are given. You can control the flow of air and the direction of air. Two USB Type-C ports that are given. There are also these lights which are given for the rear passengers, and these are like the touch buttons, so you touch them and it starts. So again, that's a bit of a touch that has been given. But overall, it's quite spacious and quite airy because of these longer doors that you get on this ZR-V, and as a result, the journeys are going to be quite comfortable for fully grown adults out here in the ZR-V. So this new Honda ZR-V is powered by a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder VTEC turbocharged engine that produces 180 horsepower and 240 Newton meters of torque, and this engine is mated to a CVT transmission that sends the power through the front wheel, so you have a front wheel drive car. Now in terms of the engine gearbox, it's a very good combination which I like. Again, a lot of things, as I mentioned, are from the Civic, so yes, this comes from there, and it's actually very good. It's so smooth, the delivery, power delivery, the shifts. I mean, there's no shift actually because there's a CVT, but still how the way it works very well. The power is, when you need it, you get it. The only thing is that the CVT just tends to get stressed out if you try to hard accelerate, and then it becomes slightly noisy. That's the only thing, but otherwise it's just very good. Now in terms of the efficiency from this combination, on a normal day-to-day driving, I'm getting around 10 to 10.5 kilometers per liter, which is pretty good, to be honest. And on longer runs, that's where it's the most impressive, because I've been getting around 14 to 14.5 kilometers per liter, and I think even you can go higher than that. So that is actually a very good figure that you can target if you are going to be driving this regularly, especially if you are going to be daily driving this thing. It's going to be very efficient for that during longer runs. Now when it comes to the suspensions, you have a very balanced setup on this, and the ride quality is actually rather very good, because it irons out all the bumps so well, and the car remains so planted and stable, and I'm very impressed by that too. So let me do a slalom actually and show you how good the suspension is, because the chassis on this is very good. It absorbs most of the bumps, so you don't have to bother about anything. So let me do a slalom. There you go. Yes. Yeah, there is only very minimal roll, and it's quite surprising for an SUV that you say that the roll is very less, but yes, and it's so much better in terms of the comfort levels in here. Now when you come to the steering, you get an electronic steering on this thing, but it's again very well calibrated, and in terms of the response, in terms of the feedback, yes, you have good amount of that. And plus there are special driving modes like 3-1. So you have an econ, you have the normal, and then you have the sport. So when I put it in the sport mode, what it does is it just increases the shifting points of the car, and as a result you get, and also the throttle response increases, and even the steering becomes slightly stiffer, and as a result, yeah, you can do a lot more with this setup then. And as I said, yeah, it goes to higher RPM when it's accelerating, so again that makes slightly noisy affair in here. That's the only thing, but otherwise, yeah, pretty good. Now in terms of the noise and the vibrations, as I mentioned, there is slight bit of noise that you will hear of this CVT when you are hard accelerating. That's the only thing. There's a bit of wind whooshing from around the window edges on a very windy day, but otherwise it's fairly quiet in here, and in terms of the build quality, it's very good. So there's no vibration or rattling of any loose plastics or anything. Now when you come to the brakes, you get 4 disc brakes on this ZR-V, and let me just do a 100 to 0 emergency stop and show you the braking performance first. Wow, it just took me barely few meters to stop, because that's pretty impressive again. The only thing is that the pedal feels slightly harder, it's firmer, it feels like a woody kind of feeling when you're kind of punching it. The initial bit has a bit of a dead zone, and then it just comes in, but then it's pretty hard in that case. So that's the only thing, but otherwise, yeah, the performance from these brakes is impressive. So you have ABS and everything going in there, and one more impressive area is the turning radius of this thing, because it's very short. It's like a hatchback. Yeah, it just turns like very quickly, and it's actually very good if you're going to be using this car in tight spaces, maneuvering it around. So that's going to be quite helpful. Now when you come to the safety systems, so you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, 2 curtain airbags which are given on the pillars. There's also ISOFIX points in both the rear seats. There's also a brilliant 360-degree camera system. I like the output from that. It's very smooth, it's very crisp, and the only thing is that sometimes it just keeps coming on all the time when you're slowing down or when there are obstacles, and it just stays there for a while. That's the only annoying bit, but otherwise it's just fantastic that you have that 360-degree camera to look around when you're in the car. You can just press the button and call it at any point of time. There's also ABS, there's also emergency stop signal, there is also the lane keep assist, there's also adaptive cruise control and all of that. It's just that I missed the blind spot warning because I'm used to that. When you are driving around, it's pretty helpful in that case, but otherwise, yeah, it's pretty loaded in that sense. Now when it comes to the pricing, so the LX model, which is the base variant of this ZR-V, comes in at 119,900 dirhams, whereas this particular model, which is the EX, comes in at 129,900 dirhams. And I get that the price is a bit on the higher side, but against that you get a very good package, is what I can tell you, because you have a very good engine gearbox combination out here. Suspensions are very good, steering is very nice, it's spacious, it's got a lot of boot space, you've got plush materials in here, and let's be honest, if you like Civic, this is pretty much Civic on stilts. So that's what you get, and it's all the dynamics and everything from that car, and that's actually a nice thing. And why would you have that? Because it's stable, it's planted, it's efficient, it's spacious, it's got everything that you need from a daily family car. And for that reason, you should definitely consider this car, I would say, because though yes, the price is high, but you get everything against that. Like, there's quality bit that you get, and let's be honest, you get the reliability also, and the cooling is very good. You're gonna bring me later, because yes, cooling is what you need here. So yeah, it's got everything to go for. So as I said, definitely consider this car out. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care, and drive safe.